Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the first episode in the story, in which Naruto discovers that not everything in life is black and white. Especially when you discover you are a demigod. Naruto did something unexpected and startling. At times semi-dark, with a hint of the wild side. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Let's get this party started. Naruto Uzumaki sighed as he crawled into bed. It had been a long and trying day for him. First he failed the Genin exam for the third time. Got tricked by an instructor who later tried to kill him for holding Kyuubi, and then talking to the Hokage who said he was sorry for lying all Naruto life, but he had only wanted to do what was best but didn't know why Naruto was chosen. Naruto closed his eyes and pulled the covers over his head and thought, well, my day can't get any more confusing than it already has. As he fell asleep. Funny, there was still 10 minutes left in the day before midnight. Naruto awoke to find himself in a long hallway and he thought, where am I? As he looked around and he heard the sound of voices coming from down the hall, and he looked behind him and found the way behind him blocked by a brick wall, and he thought, I guess there is only one way to go, but how did I get here? As he began to walk down the hallway. After what felt like forever for him, he came across a large room and he saw a huge cage on the other side of the room, but the thing that he was looking at right now was the 30 teenage girls sitting on pillows all dressed for a slumber party. Naruto blinked and blinked again as he looked at each of the girls who were giggling and looking at each other, and none of the girls noticed him. He tried to hear what was being said but he couldn't, and debating his options he started to slowly back away, afraid that he might get into trouble, only to feel himself walk right into someone who was taller than him, and he heard a grunt behind him. He slowly turned and saw a red-haired woman with green eyes standing there, and she smiled at Naruto, and he took a step back and said, hi. Feeling scared and confused. The woman said, hello Naruto. Naruto blinked and asked, how do you know my name? Across the room the 30 girls had all heard him and had looked across at him, and one of the girls looked down and a couple of the other girls put their arms around her as they watched what was going on. The red-haired woman laughed a soft kind laugh and asked, how do I know the name of my own son? I gave it to you. With a loving smile on her face. Naruto blinked and blinked again before taking a step back, and a frown came on his face, and he said, I've played this game before lady and it won't work. The woman sighed and said, I know, I was there that night watching, wishing I could do something to help you. I was there every time you cried, every time you went to bed hungry, every time you were beat, and every time you wanted to give up. Mother knows I wanted to be there to hold you, but I couldn't. As she fell to her knees with tears in her eyes. Naruto frowned as he bit his lip and asked, if you really was there and wanted to help, then why didn't you? The woman sighed and said, can I tell you a story, Naruto? A story about why the so-called Kyuubi attacked Konoha, why your father and I couldn't be there for you, and why you are here now. Please, all I ask for is a chance to tell you this story. You can hate me the rest of your days, but let me tell you it. As she looked at Naruto with sad, begging eyes. Naruto bit his lip and said, alright, I'll listen, but don't try anything funny. I'm a ninja and I don't want to hurt you. The woman laughed and said, that's funny, but thank you. You see Naruto, the Kyuubi as everyone calls her is not really a demon. Naruto said, Kyuubi a girl. The woman said, actually, Kyuubi isn't her real name either. To mortals she is usually known as Inari, goddess of fertility, prosperity, and kitsunes. Naruto blinked and sat down and said, so you're saying Kyuubi is actually Inari? The woman said, no, what I am saying is what everyone in Konoha believes is sealed inside you is not really the Kyuubi. There was a Kyuubi in the world, but it was destroyed by the Shodaime Hokage nearly 100 years ago. Naruto said, but I don't understand. A soft teenage voice from behind him, what she is trying to tell you is that when I was coming to Konoha originally I was not in my fox form but appeared as I am now, and I was coming to congratulate Kushina here on having a child when I was attacked by some mortal men who thought I was some weak female they could have their way with, and I changed from my female form to my kitsune form and defended myself by ridding the world of those evil men, but when I did so some stupid ninja from Konoha saw me and assumed I had come to attack Konoha, and he sent one of his teammates back to Konoha to warn them about an attack while he ordered the rest of his team to attack me. They wouldn't listen to me when I tried to stop them and they kept attacking me, so I had to defend myself. As that happened other ninja arrived and it snowballed after that until your entire village was involved, and your father came to stop it, and he knew who I was really, and he asked me while pretending to fight me why I was doing this, and when I told him he said he understood, and he summoned Kushina to his side to end the fight by putting me someplace safe and make it where people didn't learn the truth and also give me time to calm down. Naruto frowned and asked, what truth? Kushina said the truth that his wife, me, was in fact an immortal goddess living among mortals and having a child. Now you have heard what happened the night of the Kyuubi attack, and you have heard us say what also happened. Can you figure out what goddess I am and who your father was? Think about everything the Sun Daime said and what we told you, Naruto. Please. Naruto sat down and began to think, and after several minutes his eyes went wide as he paled and said, "You're the Shinigami." Kushina smiled and nods and said, "Yes." "And who is your father?" Naruto said, But, if my father was the Yondaime, then why?" As he looked lost, Kushina said, "Then why was you chosen to hold Inari here? Think about it, son. We told you he was putting Inari someplace safe, someplace that would allow her to rest and calm down so she could return to her human form. It had to be a place where mortals could not touch her since they were what was angering her at the moment." Naruto said, "But, if she was placed inside me to keep her safe, then why did Dad die and where have you been all my life?" Kushina said, "When your father summoned me, he did it using the summoning contract I gave him, and when that happened my spirit was pulled from my body, and a nurse who came to check on me found my body without my spirit and thought I had died and had my body destroyed while I was with your father ending the fight. Without my human body I could not return to the mortal world, and I can only have a body once every 500 years because it takes a lot of energy for me to make it in the first place. All I could do is watch you as you grew up, wishing I could hold you in my arms and take the pain and suffering you felt away. I begged Mother to let me return, but she told me she couldn't change the rules for me, or she would have to change the rules for all, which could end up destroying everything." Naruto said, "But, who is your mom and why was she able to tell you not to be there?" Kushina smiled and said, "My mother, your grandmother, is Kami." Naruto blinked and blinked again and screamed, "Kami's my what?" This earned laughs from all the girls present, and Kushina said, "Kami is your grandmother." Naruto said, "Then, what does that make me? Am I some kind of god or?" Kushina said, "Not yet. Right now you are considered a demigod. A half-god." Naruto said, This is a lot to take in." Kushina said, "I understand, son, and I wish that we had all the time in the world to talk to you, but we are all actually here for a reason." Naruto blinked and asked, "What reason?" Kushina said, "Until you learned about Inari being in you, we couldn't approach you because you needed to open yourself up to a spiritual link, and without knowing about a spiritual link you can't use one. When you learned of Inari being in you, it established one." Naruto said, "Okay, I got this link, but what is going to happen?" Kushina said, "Well, first thing you need to do is forget your anger at the mortals fools in Konoha. All those who have died who have hurt you, son, is being repaid 100 folds by your father." Naruto asked, "What do you mean?" Kushina said, "Minato didn't die from the ceiling as everyone believes. That was another reason on top of the fact he was too noble to ask someone else to give up their child that you were chosen. A poison kunai someone threw at Inari bounced off and cut him, and the poison is what killed him after the sealing was done. Since I returned to find my body destroyed, and we both saw the way the people of the village were reacting to you when the Sun Daime said you had Kyuubi and we wanted to destroy Konoha. We couldn't actually do that, so we decided to do the next best thing. What better way to make people suffer than to have the one they view as a hero show them they are not even worth the dirt on their hero's feet? I asked Mother to let Minato take over for me while I watched over you, and since I couldn't come back to life she was willing to do this for me, and so she gave my powers to him for 100 years. More than enough time for you to pass away in the mortal world, and so Minato gets revenge for you, so don't be angry at the mortal, they will get their punishment in the end." Naruto thought a moment with a frown and said, "Alright, I'll try." "What next?" Inari said. "Next is where we come in. You see, you're the first child born to one of us in many years. In fact, the last demigod to be born was my son, your great-grandfather, which is another reason I was coming to Konoha to see you. We each were coming to give you our blessings when everything went to hell like it did, so we have waited until we could contact you to give you your gifts, which is why I am still inside of you at this time and have not given it to you yet. I have been waiting to give my great-grandson/nephew his birthday present, a little late but better late than never, huh?" Naruto laughs and said, "I guess so. So what is this blessing thing, and am I related to all of you, and who is your son?" Inari said, "My son was Hashirama Senju, Shada. I'm Hokage of Konoha. I fell in love with his father Ono and had our son, but then one day a nomad tribe who later became the Inuzuka clan attacked our home, and to save our son and my husband I reveal my kitsune form, scaring the nomads away, but they spread word of me, and fearing for my family's safety I was forced to leave them, so I gave Hashirama a gift to remember me by. Ono told me that he didn't care what I was, that he would always love me." As she looked off in memory, Kushina, seeing this, decided to give her some privacy and said, "You asked if we are all related, son. The answer is yes and no. We are all considered sisters since we all have the same mother, but we were not born, we were simply created for specific jobs, so it's not blood. Basically it means that if any of them fell in love with another one they could be together. In fact some have, and some with mortals as well." Naruto looked confused, and Inari, who had recovered from her thoughts, said, "Since my own anger was the cause of your suffering, I have 3 gifts for you. The first is this." As she pulled out a scroll, Naruto asked as he took the scroll, "What is this?" Inari said it is the summoning contract for the Ents. A race of tree-like men. They have served me well over the years tending to the forest. You are the second to ever have this contract, the first being my son. Sign your name at the bottom of the scroll in your blood and you can summon by. As she told him how to summon. After he signed the contract and demonstrated he could do it without actually summoning, Inari said now the next is this. As she pulled out a samurai sword and she said this is Kajutsun Maru or Little Fox. It is a sword of defense. The blade is special. It appears to be dull and will never cut you or your enemy unless your enemy is trying to kill you. This sword will only kill in defense, never attack. As long as you are defending yourself from death the blade can kill, but if you want it to kill out of anger, revenge, or just to kill someone it won't even cut their skin. Naruto took the sword looking at it in wonder, and Inari walked forward and kissed Naruto on the forehead and said, and the last gift I give you is the same bloodline I gave my son, the Shodaime Hokage. You now have the ability to control plants. I know you don't know how to use it, which is another reason I gave you the contract for the Ents. They will help train you, but train in the forest. Also, unlike my son who I gave it to, for only him I made it where you and all your children will have it. Again I am sorry Naruto for all the pain I caused you. I must be going because it's been 14 years since I last saw my beloved husband and son, but I will check on you from time to time, even though you won't see me. When I am gone my mark on you will leave, so the seal on your stomach as well as your whiskers will disappear. Naruto frowned and said I actually like the whiskers, but alright, I can handle that. Inari smiled and walked over and kissed him on the head and whispered something else in his ear that made his eyes go wide before she stepped back and faded away. In the real world the seal on Naruto's stomach glowed before fading away. Back in the link after she was gone all the other girls came up one at a time introducing themselves and either shaking his hands or wishing him a bright future until there was only 3 left. The 3 girls walked over and Kushina giggled as she saw them walk over. One was a brunette around 5 feet 4 inches and had on a white silk dress. Next to her was another girl who was equal in height to the other 2 and had black hair and wore a black silk dress, and the third was a blonde who wore a blue dress. The brunette said I am Destiny. The black-haired girl said I am Fate. The blonde said and I am Chance, and we are. All 3 together said the 3 sisters. As they struck a pose. Naruto thought, okay, that was stupid. With a sweat drop on the back of his head at the pose all 3 made. Kushina said, Naruto, these 3 are very important. Destiny decides if a woman will have a child or not. It is because of her that I was able to conceive. Destiny said I only chose that you would have a child. I did not decide when, where, who the father was, or what gender or what he or she would look like. Kushina. Just that at some point in your life you would have a choice to have a child. That is all I decided. The only destiny anything has is a chance to be born. Kushina said, right, sorry about that. Next we have Fate. As she winked at Destiny. Fate sighed and said, Helly Naruto. Where my sister Destiny shows is that someone has a chance to be born, I am the one who shows is they have a chance to die, not when or how, or why. The only fate anything that is born has is a chance to die. Naruto looked at Kushina and said, I thought that you decided that. Kushina said, I only guide the souls of the dead where they will go in the afterlife, son. Naruto nods and looked at Chance and she smiled and said, oh, I love him. Kushina, he's so handsome. I just want to take him back with me. And in a fangirl voice Kushina said Chance. In a dangerous tone and tempting her. Chance sighed and said, I'm Chance, but you can call me Lady Luck. I am your godmother. Where my sisters decide if someone will have a chance to live or if they will have a chance to die, I'm more of a wild card. I will give you an example. The kunai that was thrown at Inari that was poisoned, when it bounced off her it could have went up, down, left, right, or any other direction. I had to choose which direction it went. Naruto frowned and said, so it was your fault it him my dad and killed him. Chance sighed and said, sort of. I have no way of knowing what it will do after that moment in time where it bounced. I just chose a direction at random based off which ways it could go from the original throw and the bounce. I did not know it would hit your father or if it would have missed him because I don't choose everything. People blame the 3 of us for all kinds of things in life when in fact most of the time it comes down to people's own choice. Take this for example. As she pulled out a deck of cards and shuffled them. She laid several cards down and said, these are aces, they can be 1 or 11. These are face cards and are worth 10, and these are each worth the number that is on them. The point in this game is to get 21 or as close as you can without going over. If you go over you lose. Now here. As she placed 1 card face down on each side and 1 face up. Chance said, you have a king showing, so you have 10 showing and I have a 10 showing. I don't know what your bottom card is, but you can look for yourself. Naruto did, and Fate said, now right here is where things are out of my hand. You know what you have but you don't know what I have or what the next card is. It comes down to your choice. Will you take the next card or will you hold? I have nothing on your decision right now, so chose. Naruto said, give it to me. Chance grabbed the next card and said, here is where I come in. I have 48 possibilities for the next card since we both have 2 each and there was originally 52 cards. I chose the next card as a 6. As she flipped it over and a 6 was shown. Naruto flipped his over and showed a 5 and said, I win. Chance said, but what if I chose it to be a king instead, would you still win? Naruto frowned and said, I see. So if people's names were all put together in a hat and one was drawn out, then you would be the one who chose which name. Chance said, exactly. Now since I am your godmother, I have a few gifts for you also. My sisters helped me with these, so it's not just me you have to thank. Naruto said, well, I got so much already, a summoning contract, a bloodline, a sword, what else could I ask for on top of all the well wishes and thanks I got? Kushina said, you understand why most of them didn't give you anything besides words of luck or thanks, right? As she looked at him. Naruto said, not really. Why? Kushina said, oh my, I guess that slipped my mind. How embarrassing. You see, we did sort of bend the rules about not contacting you earlier in your life, son. All those other girls who didn't give you anything is because they already gave you something. After they heard about you and what had happened, they went to mother and asked her to allow me to give you my gift already. Your healing ability, the thing that has kept you alive all this time. That was my gift to you. It wasn't supposed to activate until you hit puberty, but all the others went and begged mother to bend the rule just this once. Since they did, she allowed me to give it to you within the first 24 hours of you being born, and we made it so all your children will also, so they didn't have to give you anything else. Naruto said, oh, I didn't know. Could you let them know I really appreciate it? Kushina said, we will. Now before these 3 give you your gift, let me tell you a little more about my gift. I know you will be excited when you see theirs, so that is why I am going first. You can't get sick from any virus. You also become immune to anything dangerous you come into contact with, like poisons, after the first time coming in contact with it. The first time, depending on what shape you are in, will determine if you live or die. As long as you have chakra in your body you can heal, and as long as you're not seriously wounded you can fight the poison off after a little time. The only way to actually kill you is to cut off your head, destroy your heart in one move, or continuously damage your body while draining your chakra until you die. Now that does not mean I want you to risk your life doing stupid shit like taking on an army by yourself or standing in front of a rock slide. If you do, I'll wait for you on the other side and kick your ass myself. I had enough of that stuff from your father. Naruto gulped and thought, mom's scary. Chance walked forward and put her arm around Naruto and said, chill Kushina, he's only just met you and you're already trying to put him under your thumb. Kushina glared at her and Chance stuck out her tongue and said, ignore her, she's just moody because she missed out being able to be there for you. Now on to our gifts, Fate said as she pulled out a pair of pants, a shirt, and a cloak, all silver. This is a new set of cloths that we had specially made for you. Like your healing ability, as long as you have chakra these things can't be destroyed. Also, if you channel chakra into the cloak while wearing it you will become invisible, just be sure to pull the hood up so your head is invisible also. Now nobody will be able to see you, but if you are walking on something that could leave a footprint like water or dirt, sand, or things like that, your steps will appear. These cloths will grow as you do, and once you put them on, your seal will appear on your cloths. Naruto looked confused and said, my seal? What seal? Kushina sighed and said, as you notice with each of my sisters, their names are what they are: the goddess of fate, destiny, chance, wisdom. My real name is Shinigami. I first met your father when he was but a little boy, right after his parents died when they were attacked by bandits. I was sure he was going to die and I waited and waited, but I noticed, even during the rain and the cold, he was looking at me. He actually saw me and he smiled at me. A traveler came by as I watched him and took him to Konoha, and I watched him every chance I got, and as he grew up he continued to see me. Even though the living should not be able to see me, he was able to, and he talked to me when we were alone. I should have known from the start something was up, because when I finally made my choice and went to mother to tell he I wanted to become mortal to be with him, she said she was wondering how long it would take me to realize he was my soulmate. She gave me her blessing but told me that I would have to take a mortal name, and she gave me the name Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto rubbed his nose and asked, why did she give you that name? Kushina lowered her head and said, she knew I would have you, son. When she created us she said it was to make her job easier, but most of us agreed that the truth is she was lonely. Even though she lets us do what she created us for, she still knows everything, but she likes to watch as we discover the mysteries of the universe and uncover her greater plan. I didn't know it until after I lost my body and your father died, but when I chose your name it was still her greater plan. Naruto asked, what do you mean? Chance said, what she means is that we believe mother has decided to put a task before you, Naruto. What it is none of us know, but she has put a task for you to complete. Your choices and your actions will either take you to that task or lead you away from it. If you reach your task and complete it, you will be awarded the same prize that every demigod who reached and succeeded their task received. Naruto asked, so you're saying she's already planned out my entire life? Kushina said, no, let me explain, son. You tell everyone your goal is to be Hokage, right? Naruto nods and Kushina said, well, the choices you make from now on will either lead you to your dream of being Hokage or away from it. You may become so angry at the village you decide to screw the village and leave, so your choice will lead you to or away from your dream. Mother has set up a goal for you to reach. One that only she knows about, and she will sit back and watch to see if you either go to it or away from it. Do you understand? Naruto thought a moment and said, so it all comes down to choice. Chance said, that is the greatest gift Mother ever gave to life, Naruto. Choice. She gave all life the gift of choice to decide what they will do, where they will go, what they eat, who they talk to, who they will marry. We, the gods and goddesses, are nothing more than people who work in the background making it rain or shine while you decide if you are going to go outside and enjoy what we do or stay inside and enjoy your own thing. Even we have choices. Even though Minato-kun is my soulmate, I had the choice of leaving him alone or never becoming mortal or even being more than a friend, as I had the choice to marry him. Naruto said, I see. So what is this prize I get if I pass her task, and what's my seal? Kushina said, your name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, which means a spiraling whirlpool of wind and wave. Naruto blinked and said, my name is a title like all of yours, so what does that mean exactly? Fate said, Mother believes in you, and so she's showing you that she believes in you and that you will complete the task she gives you, and she's telling you that if you do pass the task you will become the god of whirlpool, Naruto. Your main powers will be over wind and water whirlpools. Naruto said, so that means I am the god of that spiral thing that happens when you drain water out of a bathtub. With a scrunched up nose. All four ladies laughed at that, and Kushina said, no son, well, a little but not really. You know what a tornado is, right? Naruto said, yeah. They are these really powerful funnels thingies that come from the sky. Gigi told me about one he saw when he went to Suna. Kushina said, when you die as a mortal, if you have completed the task Mother set before you, then you will be the one who starts and stops those. Now some will appear even without you starting them, and some will stop when you start them. You don't gain total control of them, but you will get a lot of control over them. Naruto said, but why do I want to cause them? Kushina said, okay, let's make an example. If there was a fire destroying all of the fire country, killing everyone here, and no mortals could stop it, you could create one or two in wind country that would pull the water from the ocean inland, where it would collect together and could be blown by one of the other gods or goddesses to fire country to rain on the fire to help put out the fire. Could you do that? Naruto said, yeah, I could do that. Kushina said, even if to do so you would have to put it near a village that could be destroyed. Would you be able to let a few die so many could live? You can't just think human life either, son. You have to think of all the plants, animals, and everything else that is alive. All life is connected. Trees make air for animals and humans to breathe. Animals eat grass and are eaten by other animals and humans, and when they die they give their bodies back to the world so the trees and plants could live to make more food and air for life to continue. Naruto blinked as he sat down and said, I never thought of it like that before. Kushina said, that is something we all have to deal with. Our actions may seem small here and there, but in the larger picture it is important. There are times where you will create a maelstrom that will sink a ship out at sea, and a little boy or girl will lose their parent, but then the fish would come back to the rear to live around the ship or the coral reef and allow other fish to eat them, or humans that would normally have starved to death. The little boy or girl will hate you, but hundreds of thousands of other humans or animals will love you. I had to take my own husband to the afterlife, son, and someday I will have to take you as well. I wish I could make it where you both would live immortal lives on Earth, but I can't. At least in the afterlife we will be together. Naruto said, it's a lot to take in. Finding out that grandma is wanting me to become a god, Chance said, and you can't tell anyone about it either. You can't tell any mortals who and what you really are. You will have to live your life, do what you think is right, and when you die you will find out if you won the prize or not. Naruto looked down and asked Mom, if I were to have a family, what would happen to them? Kushina said, son, I will tell you this, Mother may seem strange and you may question her methods, but she never wants people to suffer. She lets us live a life as a mortal for a short period of time to learn to love what is important to us, so when we die and are reunited with all our friends and family we treasure it, because friends and family is what makes life worth living. There will be a time you will be separated from your loved ones, but they will be waiting for you on the other side, as long as you are a good soul. Those who take pleasure out of pain and suffering of others will be punished 100 times what they did in life. I know you will have to kill, I know you will hate, I know you will love, and I know you will save. Do what you think is right, not what others tell you to do. That is the best advice I can give you. Naruto nods and said, so what now? Chance said, now Naruto, you get the rest of your gifts. The cloths were from both my sisters and me, but as your godmother I have a few others things for you. The first is this." As she handed him a box of playing cards. Naruto blinked and asked, "What are these for?" Chance said, "Those are not just some random playing cards. Those I made especially for you. Your classmate Sasuke, his bloodline, the Sharingan, allows him to copy nearly all form of jutsu. These cards are basically the same thing. All you have to do is hold these cards in front of you while sending chakra into them while someone is in front of you, and that person will be displayed on the cards, and later if you need that person to help you and they are not really there, you can send chakra into that card and a special clone of that person will appear and do what that person would do," Naruto said. "So I am stealing someone?" With a confused look on his face. Kushina said, "Oh, I get it." Naruto said, "Get what, mom?" As he looked at her, as Kushina felt warmth in her heart hearing him call her mom. Kushina smiled and said, "Alright. Say your teammates are hurt. With your chakra reserves and control right now you may never be able to do medical jutsu, but if you copied someone like Tsunade, who is one of the best medics in the world, you could use that card to summon a Kagebunshin of her to save your teammates." Chance said, "Correct, and as long as you send chakra into that card it won't matter what happens to the clone because they are real and can't be destroyed, but if you stop channeling chakra into them then they dispel. The clone will use your chakra and that person's skill to save your teammate's life." Naruto said, "Oh, I get it, but it still feels like I am stealing their hard work." Chance said, "Then ask their permission to copy them and explain it like we just did to you. I am sure you can find people who would let you copy them, and you have up to 52 people." Naruto said, "But what about jokers?" Chance laughed sheepishly and said, "Don't worry about the jokers, they're already taken care of." Fate narrowed her eyes and said, "By who?" Chance leaned over and whispered in Fate's ears, and Fate's eyes got wide and said, "You bitch. How did you pull that one off?" As she glared at her sister. Kushina asked, "What?" Watching both with narrowed eyes. Chance said, "It's a surprise. Now Naruto, I am afraid it is time for you to go. Don't worry about your mom. You will be able to talk to her again, but it will be on your birthday." Naruto frowned and said, "Alright, but I was hoping we could all talk some more. There's so much I don't understand." Destiny asked, "What did wisdom say?" Naruto said, "With time and age knowledge would become wisdom or something like that." Destiny said, "Close enough, though you only said what she was meaning and not her own words. You have a lot of knowledge right now and later you will have wisdom from thinking about it, but for now just be patient." Naruto nods and Kushina said, "I'll be watching you, son, and I want you to know that no matter what I will be proud of you and I love you." Naruto smiled at that and Chance said, "Alright Naruto, it's time for you to leave." As she walked over with her sisters and each of them placed a hand on Naruto, and Kushina said, "Wait, what are you three doing?" All three smirked and Chance said, "He's a ninja now, right?" "Old enough to kill," Fate said. "Old enough to drink," Destiny said, "and you know the rest. See ya." As all four vanished and Kushina's eyes got wide and thought, "They're not going to really do that, are they? Oh hell." As she paled. After Naruto disappeared, he found himself in a bar and in with men and women all drinking and having a good time, and the three sisters were still with him, and he asked, "Where are we?" Fate said, "Elysian Fields. It's like the VIP of the afterlife. It's where us gods come to party sometimes. My sisters and I decided that since you're an adult in the eyes of the mortal world by being a ninja, we would welcome you into adulthood and give you a night of singing, dancing, and drinking the night away. It's something we wanted to do for you." Naruto said, "Really? But why, and why isn't mom here?" Destiny said, "Naruto, we all know you're not used to having a mom again, and Kushina is basically going to smother you to try and protect you and won't let you have fun because she will be overprotective. Do you really want her to tell you that you can't drink cause you're too young, or have a good time with the three of us because she afraid we might be a bad influence on you?" Naruto looked down and said, "I guess not." Chance said, "Good. Bartender, give us 4 rounds of ambrosia and keep them coming. We got the new demigod here and we're welcoming him, right?" In a raised voice. Several cheers and whistles and a few catcalls came from all around the bar, making Naruto, who was feeling a little out of place, blushed seeing everyone raising glasses and having a good time. The bartender brought over 4 mugs with gold liquid in them and set them down, and Chance picked one up and handed it to Naruto and grabbed her one also, as did her sister, and the 3 sisters said cheers. As they moved their glasses together and clinked them and looked at Naruto, who got the idea and clinked his also, and the girls started to drink, and Naruto raised his to his mouth and took a sniff and his eyes fluttered as he slowly took a drink. Naruto thought as he tasted it, "This beats even ramen." As he drank it as fast as he could. Chance said, Here, another round." As she set Naruto mug on the counter and the bartender set 2 more and she handed Naruto one and he drank it again as the 3 ladies sipped theirs. After the 5th round, Naruto felt as if he was 10 feet tall, bulletproof, and could take on the world. Fate grabbed Naruto by the arm and dragged him out to the little section by the band and began to dance with him as he still drank away, as she sometimes gave him kisses. As one song and another began and chance, fate, and destiny all three danced at least 3 times each with him as he kept getting more and more drinks and they gave him more and more kisses as well as moving on to some groping as well. After that Naruto was feeling like he was king of the world as the 3 sisters took him up a set of stairs and down a hall to one of the rooms and after unlocking the doors and slipping in with a light makeout session the girls locked the door and Chance said, "So are you having a great time becoming a man, Naruto?" Naruto with glazed eyes said, "Believe it." As he gave a good guy pose. All 3 giggled and Fate said, "My sisters and I have one more gift for you. You see, we wanted you to be a man in heart, mind, spirit and body. We couldn't see you fumbling around like a novice in front of the mortals, and a demigod should never have to lower himself to the standards of mortals, so why should his first time be of lowered standards? You want the best, right, Naruto-kun?" Naruto was smiling and moved his head up and down and Chance said, "Then here is your final gift, Naruto-kun." As she pressed her lips to his and his eyes fluttered as information flooded his mind and he placed his hands on her back, pulling her closer before reaching his hands down and grabbing her ass, earning a squeak of excitement. As she broke the kiss, Naruto's eyes had gone from looks of pleasure to looks of lust, making all 3 girls smile at each other and move toward Naruto, each swaying their hips with a seductive look on their faces. The next morning the light from the sun rose over the village of Konoha. A scream of "Turn the damn light off, grandma!" was heard. Inside Naruto's apartment he tried to cover his face with a pillow, but the sunlight bounced off his dresser mirror and hit him again in the face. Naruto groaned as he moved his pillow and slowly sat up, and he winced as he held his head. He looked at his body and thought, so that wasn't a dream, it was real. Did they really have to give me that many hickeys? Oh my head, I am never drinking again. It took Naruto about a half an hour to get up and take a shower and get dressed in his new clothes. When he slipped on his cloak, a whirlpool formed out of water upside down going into the air, and a tornado came out of the sky and met the whirlpool. A circle formed around the two and the word spiraling maelstrom of wind and wave appeared around it. Naruto slipped his sword on his back and it crossed right where the tornado and whirlpool met. He also found a scroll and he opened it, and several papers were inside the scroll, and he looked at them and said, "Well, now that might come in handy one day." As he saw his birth certificate along with a few others and a couple of marriage certificates. As he was walking past his mirror he saw his face and thought, "I don't feel like explaining that right now." As he grabbed some tape and bandages and put them over his cheeks like he was hiding the whiskers. Naruto slowly made his way out of his apartment and headed for the woods around the village. After 20 minutes he made it back to the clearing where he beat Mizuki and looked around and thought, "I guess this is far enough away and my headache is mostly gone. Here goes." As he bit his thumb and began to go through hand signs and said Kushios no Jutsu. As he slammed his hands on the ground and a huge puff of smoke appeared covering the area. When it cleared, Naruto looked around and asked what happened and where did all these trees come from. A groaning sound came throughout the clearing followed by several others, and Naruto looked around and said, "What was that?" "Show yourself." A slow voice said, "Are you our young master Inara-sama told us about?" Naruto looked around and said, "Yes, I am. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Who are you and where are you?" The voice said, "We are around you and we are the Ents. My name is Oak." As the tree in front of Naruto began to turn and Naruto saw what looked like legs made out of wood, and his eyes traveled up the wood until it came to a face, and he looked around him and saw several others, and the one that first turned around said, "That is ash, cedar, spruce, pine, and maple. We are the 6 elders trees of the Ents. For you to summon us all at one time shows you have a lot of energy, young master." Naruto rubbed his head and said, "Yeah, I do. So what now?" Oak said, "You were the one to call us. Why did you call us, young master?" Naruto said, "I was told you could help me with my bloodline. I have the same bloodline as Hashirama Senju, Inari's son." Oak said, "I see." As he started to moan and the other trees one by one also moaned. Naruto looked around and asked, "What are you doing?" Oak looked at him and said, "Young master must be patient. We Ents do not speak often, so when we speak we think on it for a long time. Right now we are speaking amongst ourselves on what to do. Be patient." Naruto looked sheepish and said, "Sorry." And the Ents began to moan again. A half hour later Naruto was sitting on the ground and the moaning stopped, and Oak turned to Naruto and said, "Young master. We have talked, and before we teach you anything you must show us what type of person you are. We do not know if you respect plants or if you act as most humans. We will give you a task. You must take 5 seeds from each of us and go find a clearing that has no trees in it and plant the seeds far enough apart for each tree to grow big and strong, and then you are to water the seeds and use your chakra to make them grow. You must make sure they have plenty of water, because the more they grow the more water they will need. They will get food from the earth as long as they do not choke on each other, but the ground must be fertile also. When the trees are all as tall as we are, then return to this clearing. If any of them die, then that type of tree will not serve you, so you must take care of each and make sure you don't give them too much chakra at one time or they will die. Until then we will stay here and sleep. Do you understand? Naruto said yeah, I think I do, but how will I know how much is too much? Oak said you must figure that out yourself. Here are the seeds and good luck, young master. As he along with each of the other trees gave him 5 seeds each. Naruto took them and looked as the ants took places around the clearing and closed their eyes, becoming still, and soon it looked like they were nothing but trees. Naruto sighed as he left and after 2 hours found a field that had no trees on it, and Naruto thought, besides some flower I don't see anything here that should bother the trees, and there is a pond over there I can get water from, but should I plant the trees near the flowers? I think this is a test. They seem to consider humans as evil, and I guess from their view we are. No, I need to try not to harm any plants more than I have to, so avoid the flowers. As he began to walk out onto the field and he used his hands to dig a hole and planted the first seed into the ground, and he thought need water. As he checked to see what he could put water in. After finding nothing, Naruto thought for a few minutes and said I got it. As he put his hands together and said Kagebunshin no Jutsu. As 5 clones appeared. Naruto looked at them and pointed to 2 of them and said I want you both to hedge into buckets and I want you 2 to go and get water. I want you to take this seed and find a place for it and have one of them bring you water, but don't do anything else besides water it. I want to do this myself to make sure I don't mess up. The clones said right boss. As they quickly got to work. After Naruto got water poured on the seed he was at, he slowly started to send chakra into the ground, and at first nothing happened and Naruto thought please grow. The ground began to slightly break apart and a small sprout came out of the ground, but it started to turn yellow and Naruto stopped and said that don't look good. The clone said maybe it needs more water boss. Naruto looked at the clone and then the plant and frowned a moment and said alright, but slowly. The clone nods and began to give it some more water and Naruto thought drink. As he sent chakra into the ground. The sprout slowly turned back green, and when it did Naruto thought grow. And the sprout began to grow again, but a few moments later Naruto saw the leaves turning yellow again, so he started to add more water and kept this going slowly over the next hour. By the time the tree was fully grown, Naruto was panting with sweat and said I need a break, I forgot to get some breakfast. As he got up dispelling the clones and headed back toward the village. As he was walking through town he saw the looks he was getting of confusion and resentment. Naruto made it to Ikaruka ramen stand and Ayame looked at Naruto and blinked and said Naruto, is that you? Naruto said yeah, can't you tell? Ayame said you look so different. You got some new cloths and you're hiding your whiskers. Naruto rubbed his head and said yeah, if we can we not talk about it right now? There's some things I need to get figured out for myself first. Could I just get 3 bowls of miso ramen? Ayame said sure, coming right up. As she turned and got to work. A few minutes later she set them in front of Naruto, who slowly ate them, shocking Ayame, and she asked is everything okay Naruto? If you want to talk to someone I'm here for you. Naruto looked up and saw the worry in Ayame's face and something clicked in his head and he smiled kindly at her and motioned with his head to come closer. Ayame got closer and he motioned again, and when she was only a few inches from his face he slowly reached up and caressed her cheek and said thank you for everything Ayame. As he leaned forward and kissed her lightly on the cheek near the corner of her mouth, shocking her as he turned and left, leaving behind 3 empty bowls and his payment as well as a tip. Ayame stood there for several moments looking at the spot Naruto had been, and a small smile formed on her lips as she took the money and cleaned up the bowls. Naruto thought as he made his way back to the clearing, why did I do that? As he tried to figure out what happened. When he got back to the clearing he said hey, I thought I dispelled you all. A clone stood beside a bucket and said you dispelled the other clones but me and the other one who was hedged into buckets, so we continued to work on the tree. Look. Naruto looked at it and said good job, I guess you saw how I did it on the first tree huh? The clone said yeah boss. You want us to work on the other trees? Naruto said no, I don't know how much chakra you have left, so both of you dispel. The bucket and the clone dispelled and Naruto head swam a moment and he thought whoa, wait a minute. I got the memory of both clones switching back and forward growing that tree. Does that mean I get the memories from Kagebunshin when they are dispelled? Only one way to find out. As he created another clone and said I want you to go write something on the dirt and then dispel to see if I get your memories. As he turned around and closed his eyes. After the clone dispelled, Naruto's eyes got wide and turned around and said it worked. As the word girl was spelled on the grass. Naruto looked around and said well, if I am going to get done today I need to get busy, Kagebunshin no Jutsu. As 20 clones appeared and Naruto had them split up and began to grow trees slowly while he did also. After a few hours and creating new clones, Naruto was panting heavy from growing the last tree when the world around him shimmered a moment before everything went dark. He appeared in a place he had just recently visited and Naruto thought this is where I met Mom. As he began to run down the tunnel. When he got there he saw the room where his mom was before empty and then he heard a female scream and he took off in the direction of the scream and after a few minutes he frowned and said, "What the hell are you doing here, Ino?" Ino jumped and said, "What the hell, you shouldn't be able to be here right now, Naruto." Naruto said, "What are you doing in my mind?" Ino said, "That's my cue." As she put her hands together and said Kai. Naruto found himself back in the real world and he heard someone breaking through the woods quickly and Naruto put his hands together and said Kagebunshin no Jutsu. And the clearing was filled with Naruto and Naruto screamed, "Get her!" As him and all his clones began to run in different directions. It wasn't long before one dispelled giving the others directions to where Ino was currently running through the woods. Ino thought, "What the hell, first I walk into a room with Naruto having sex with 3 women and then I find Naruto in his own mind. He shouldn't have, what was that?" As she heard something in the woods. Just then Naruto jumped over her and appeared in front of her and Ino quickly changed directions and avoided Naruto only to be blocked by him again. As Ino kept changing directions she was being slowly led away. Ino was panting and thought, how the hell is he able to keep up with me like that and track me so easily? He's pissed and I don't want to find out what he might do. I need to get out of here or find someone to stall him. About 5 minutes later Ino saw a cabin and had smoke coming from the chimney and she thought people. As she ran and quickly grabbed the door and opened it and ran in slamming and locking it behind her. She turned around and paled as she saw Naruto sitting there and she said but. As she quickly unlocked the door and opened it and saw 10 more Naruto outside the door and she took a step back in fear as the other Naruto who were releasing a little key and glaring at her came in closing the door. Ino felt herself bump into someone and before she had a chance to understand what was happening her hands were grabbed and tied behind her back with an old sheet that was off the old bed. She then was thrown into the chair Naruto had been in and she saw the Naruto glaring at her before they went up in smoke and the real Naruto stood there. Naruto had his arms crossed and he said in an angry voice, "Hello Ino." Ino gulped and said hi. As she looked around the room and noticed the windows were boarded up and Naruto was leaning against the door and there was a small fire in the fireplace. Naruto said, "You know you really screwed up Ino. You are now my enemy." Ino blinked and said, "Enemy, what the hell are you talking about and why did you tie me up like this? I'm a Konoha nin and you're just the dead last who couldn't even pass." Naruto said, "Because you are my prisoner now Ino and for your information, I did pass." As he showed her his hate. Ino frowned and Naruto pulled out a kunai and said, "Do you know what happens to enemy ninja when they are captured Ino, especially kunoichi?" Ino's eyes got wide and she tried to stand up only for Naruto to grab her by her hair and pulled her back onto the chair and held the kunai at her neck. Ino had tears in her eyes and she said, "Please, please don't." Naruto said, "I haven't said I would do anything to you Ino. I just asked you a question and you freaked out. All I want to do is talk to you. You answer my questions and I will let you go but you have to answer my questions truthfully. You are after all my enemy and my prisoner and I can ask the questions nicely and let you go or I can interrogate you." Ino's eyes got wide again and she gulped and said, "Alright, I will talk. Just don't hurt me." Naruto took the kunai away and said, "Now why did you become my enemy Ino?" Ino said, "I don't know Naruto. We're both Konoha nin so why do you keep calling me your enemy?" Naruto said, "Because you attacked me Ino." Ino said, "No I didn't." Naruto said, "Then what were you doing in my mind Ino?" Ino frowned and said, "I." Naruto raised the kunai and Ino said, "I was curious, that's all." Naruto lowered the kunai and asked, "Curious about what Ino?" Ino said, "I was curious how you were growing those trees." Naruto said, "And you couldn't ask me." Ino bit her lip and Naruto said, "What is it you wanted to do with that info Ino? Why did you have to go inside my head to get the info instead of asking me?" As he put the kunai back to her neck. Ino gulped and said, "I wanted to learn to do it to impress Sasuke-kun." Naruto said, "And you wanted to take credit for it yourself. You didn't care about me and wanted to take what I have for your own selfish reason. You basically were raping my mind Ino. What do you have to say for yourself?" Ino frowned and said, "I didn't learn how you did it. You caught me before I could." Naruto said, "Oh, and how can I be sure of that?" As he glared at her. Ino said, "Because I told you I didn't." Naruto said, "Your words mean nothing to me Ino. You are after all my enemy. What if I were to rape you but stopped before I cummed and said I didn't rape you because I didn't get my goal? Does that mean I didn't rape you?" Ino was scared now as she saw the look Naruto had on his face. He screamed, "Answer me." Ino quickly shouted, "No." Naruto said, "Then what's the difference between what you did to me and what I just said? Is it because one is mental and one is physical?" Ino looked down and Naruto began to walk back and forward and after several minutes he said in a calmer voice, "Ino, I have secrets I don't want anyone to know. Secrets that could make my life a whole lot harder or that could hurt those I care for. You may not know what you got or didn't get as a secret or not, and there is no way for me to know what you have. Ino said. All I saw was you having sex with 3 women. That was it, Naruto said. But how can I trust you, Ino? You're not the most trustworthy person. Your friendship with Sakura is proof of that. Making Ino flinch. Naruto bit his lip and said, the secrets I have I want to keep secret from now until the Chunin exams in 6 months. My ability to grow plants plus my relationship with those 3 girls are something I can't let anyone know about, which is why I am training so far away from everything. Ino said. That field is owned by my family. Naruto sighed and said, then sorry about trespassing like that. I thought it was a normal field, but that doesn't help this problem. How can I trust you if I let you go not to tell anyone what you saw? Ino said. I promise, I won't tell anyone. Naruto said. Not even if Sasuke came up and told you that he would marry you if you told him? Ino couldn't answer, and Naruto said, that is what I am talking about. Your promises mean nothing. Ino asked in a scared voice, what are you going to do to me? Naruto sat down and said, you know you screwed up, right? I mean, if I wasn't such a nice guy or a Konohanin and you did that, then odds are you would be on this bed right now screaming in pain. Making Ino pale and flinch. Naruto said, if I untie you, will you not run away until we can come to a solution? If you try to run, I will have to capture you and odds are hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. Ino gulped and she nods her head yes, and Naruto walked behind her and untied her. Ino pulled her hands around and rubbed her wrist, and Naruto sat back down and said, after a few moments, the way I see it, I can either blackmail you into keeping quiet, but if the right price came in front of you, then you would reveal what you saw and know, and then my life will be hell, even if I ruin your life by telling everyone how you sneak into friends and allies' minds and steal their jutsu and knowledge for your own selfishness. That will result in you losing your ninja license and all your friends and make your clan look bad. I don't think you would want that because you would never be with Sasuke then. Ino bit her lip and thought, damn, I was fixing to run but nothing's stopping him from ratting me out if I did escape. And asked, so what then? Naruto looked at the fire a moment and he heard a whisper in his ear in a seductive tone, and as he listened he said, that might work. Ino asked what? Naruto looked at her and said, the only way I can properly protect myself from you revealing what you know is to keep you prisoner. Before Ino could react, she felt the kunai on her neck, and Naruto said, don't. I don't mean I will keep you locked up here, but I have an idea that will keep you on a leash like a dog until the Chunin exams. Ino said, I'm no dog. Naruto said, dogs obey their masters and are given treats for good behavior and punished for bad. Prisoners are given only the essential to live and are interrogated and used by the other prisoners or guards. It's your choice which you want to be. You either stay a prisoner locked away someplace I know you can tell anyone what you saw, or I can let you walk out of this cabin and go back to your life with a few rules and restrictions that you have to follow until the exams are over, and then you can do whatever you want. It's your choice. Ino started to open her mouth when Naruto said, don't think you can say you agree to it now and back out later, because I have an insurance policy in mind that you will have to follow or no deal. Ino frowned and said, since when did you get so smart and manipulative? Naruto said, Ino, in the last 24 hours Mizuki-sensei tried to kill me. I found out my father was the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, my mother was Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, also known as the Red Death, and that I am also the great-grandson of Hashirama Senju, or as most know him as the Shodaime Hokage of Konoha, and I have his bloodline, which is why I can make plants grow. Those are but a few of the secrets that I have, and if any of them were found out before I am strong enough to defend myself, I will have assassin from Miwa, Kumo, Mist, and probably Suna as well coming here to kill me in my sleep, and those I am close to. Now do you understand why I am like this? Ino swallowed and said in a dry voice, yeah, is that all true? Naruto said, I look like my dad and you saw my bloodline, and Mizuki is in jail right now for trying to kill me. Ino frowned and said, alright, I can understand why you're this way now. What is it I got to do so I can leave? Naruto said, from now until the exams are over you are my servant and I am your master. You will do as I tell you, and you will be silent about everything that is said between us to everyone, and you will do everything I tell you to. In doing so you will be taught a lesson about invading other people's privacy when they are friends and allies, and also so I can keep an eye on you. You will be given rewards for following my rules and punished by breaking them. My word will be law and are not negotiable. Do you understand? Ino looked down and said, yeah, I understand. Naruto created a Kagebunshin that quickly left. After it was gone, Naruto said, remember the insurance policy I mentioned earlier, so I know you won't tell anyone. Ino gulped. Yeah, Naruto said, when my Kagebunshin gets back you will learn what it is. For now I will tell you your duties. I know you work at your family shop. What time and when? Ino said, usually every day until 5 when we close. I know I will have ninja duties also now. Naruto said, I will as well. Alright. I will be training every day until 7 p.m. I want you to come every other day starting tomorrow to my apartment. I will leave a scroll full of chores you will do. Ino said chores. I'm not doing your chores. Naruto said then I guess I will have to lock you up then. Ino frowned and Naruto said now don't interrupt me again. Now these chores are your payment to me for the crime you committed against me. I expect you to present yourself as a servant will to your master in every way possible. If you fail to do so or fail to complete your chores before I arrive back at my apartment at 7 then you will be punished. Anything special you need like hygiene or cloths you may leave in my spare room so you don't have to drag them across town each day. Ino said when you say cloths, what do you mean? Naruto said a maid's outfit. Ino glared at him and Naruto smirked and said you won't like the alternative. Ino frowned and said fine, what else? Naruto said I won't make you do it every day but unless you are on missions you must come by on every other day. If you fail to do so I will carry out my insurance policy. Just then the door opened and the Kagebunshin walked in and said these were all I could find. As he held up 3 rosebuds. Ino blinked and laughed and said your big insurance policy is young roses. Naruto smirked and said laugh all you want but you're forgetting several things Ino said in an amused tone oh, and what's that? Naruto said my bloodline, your family business, and what range I can use my bloodline from. Ino's eyes darted back and forward a moment before she paled and said you could attack me in my home, Naruto said or destroy all your plants and ruin your business, or have them destroy your home. And because plants are nearly everywhere I could attack you nearly anywhere. Ino frowned and said I see your point, Naruto said good, so do we have a deal, you follow my directions and be my servant and get rewards, fail to keep your silence or complete your task and be punished as I see fit. Agreed, Ino sighed and said fine, I agree, Naruto said good, and since we were able to reach an agreement without anyone being hurt besides trust and a few scratches I will give you a reward as I see fit. Are you ready for it? Ino said I guess, Naruto said good, stand up and take your cloths off. Ino's eyes got wide and screamed what? Naruto said remember Ino, you are now my servant and must do as I said or you will be punished. I am not going to touch you with anything on my body or rape you or force you to have sex or anything like that. All I am going to do is talk to you while you stand still and let these roses touch your skin. It's something one of those 3 ladies you saw taught me and you will love it. I promise you. If I break my word by touching you with anything on my body, or try to rape you or force you to have sex the deal's all off and you can have me arrested and I will keep silent. But if I keep my word you have to follow my directions, I will even let you hold a kunai for you protection if you want. It's a sign of trust that I am giving you. By showing that you are vulnerable and that I don't do anything to you then you see that I am not actually a bad person. I was vulnerable to your jutsu before Ino when you entered my mind so I just want you to see and feel what me and any other friends or allies you used it on feels like. Ino frowned and said but, I don't want to show you my body. Naruto said Ino, I didn't want you to see my memories. One of your chores will be to draw me a bath and when I requested to wash my back so odds are unless you want to stand for some time with wet cloths on then you're going to have to get used to me seeing you and you seeing me. Ino said you're a sick bastard. You know that, Naruto said actually, you can blame those 3 ladies for this. After all they were the ones who taught me everything I know about what I planned for your gifts and punishments. Ino frowned and said fine, but can you give me a little privacy? Naruto said I will wait outside until you call me back in and I will even let you still keep your bindings, panties and bra on. Here's your kunai. As he threw it into the floor and walked out. Ino sat down and thought to herself for several minutes weighing her choices and after standing up and closing her eyes began to undress. Naruto waited about 10 minutes when Ino's voice said meekly okay. Naruto came in and his eyes went wide as they trailed down Ino's body and said you have a body that rivals a goddess Ino. Ino blushed and said please stop staring and get it over with so I can get dressed and go. As she covered her chest with one arm and her pussy with her other hand though she still had on panties and a bra Naruto nods and walks over grabbing one of the roses and said arms out to your side and eyes closed. Ino bit her lip and slowly moved her hands away and Naruto walked over and put the rose on Ino's forehead and said now be perfectly still and listen to my voice. Feel the rose as it caress your body and imagine that it is me doing this, not Sasuke. Not yourself or anyone else but imagine that this rose was my lips traveling along your body. As he slowly began to move the rose down her nose to her top lip and slowly spun it and said inhale my scent as I breathe lightly on your lips. As he brought it down onto her lips and slowly began to move it across her lips and said seductively as I lightly kiss your lips and you feel the velvet touch from my lips. As he slowly trailed across to her ear and said as he moved his head closer in a seductive tone as I whisper how beautiful you are and how my eyes see an angel before me a mere mortal. As he trailed down her cheekbone to her collarbone and said as I kiss my way down and lightly nibble, here. As Ino gasped and her eyes fluttered as Naruto spun the rose just enough for a thorn to lightly nick the skin. Naruto slowly brought it back to the center of her neck and down to the valley between Inoki's breast and said, as I find my way down to your heart and I caress your breast as I nibble on your nipple, feeling your heart beating with mine. As he slowly went around her nipple that was poking through her bra below her heart and then trailed over to the other breast and did the same. By now Ino was panting as her body was flooded with pleasure and she thought, oh Kami, what is happening? Naruto used another rose to begin to tease both erect nipples now, and Ino shuddered as Naruto had a Kagebunshin he had made earlier that went outside with him to take the last rose and began to trail down Ino's body, and Naruto said, as I let my hands caress both your breast I kiss my way down, lightly teasing your belly button and down till I reach the top of your panties. Ino shuddered and said, please. Naruto said, silence Ino and be still. Ino bit her lips and the clone moved the rose to her right knee, and Naruto said, as I work my way from your knee to your inner thigh, looking at the gates of heaven before me, kissing each step of the golden path. Before doing the same to the other leg. By now Ino's legs were trembling and the clone took the rose and began to lightly tease Ino's inner thigh on both sides, and Naruto said, and then as I reach the gates to drink from that heavenly nectar I can't help but stare at the goddess that is giving it to me and give my praise of undying love, and in my eyes take in her beauty, I look upon her lips and pray to hear my name come from her beautiful lips. And the clone stood up quickly, running the rose by her real lips and under her nose, and Naruto said, but alas, I must wake from this dream because a mortal like me knows the goddess' heart belongs to another and the name that would come out would not be mine, so I look at the goddess and pray I dream of her another night. I gave you the same modesty you use when you wear a two-piece bathing suit you are so famous for when anyone else could have done more. Good night Ino, see you tomorrow my servant, and remember, I will reward good behavior and punish bad. As the clone slipped the rose in her hair before both went up in smoke, leaving Ino alone in the house on trembling legs. Ino's breath was in short shallow breaths as her eyes were unfocused and she fell to her knees and thought, oh Kami, oh. As she closed her eyes and sat there. In a clearing some distance away, Naruto's eyes fluttered as the memories from his two clones returned and he heard, is everything alright young master? Naruto looked up and said, yes Oak. My last two clones that I had training just dispelled and I got their memories. Please continue. Oak nods and said, so what you must do is. When Ino made it to her family shop she walked in and the scent of the flowers hit her and her eyes went wide before fluttering and she fell to her knees, feeling her body react to the scent and the memories that came with it. Inoiki said, Ino, are you alright dear? As he ran around the counter. Ino felt her body orgasm as her body remembering the rose that she still had in her ear and the feeling that it brought, and she closed her eyes and saw Naruto as the one pleasing her as his words rang in her head, and she felt her dad touch her shoulder calling her name, and for a moment she thought it was Naruto until she caught herself and she bit her lip and said as she caught her breath, yeah dad, I just overdid it today, I think I need to take a shower and go lay down. In a dry voice. Inoiki frowned and said, you need to be more careful princess. Ino swallows and said, I'll try daddy. As she slowly got up holding her breath as not to smell any more flowers and went up the stairs and quickly locked herself in the bathroom before slumping against the door. As she laid there Naruto's final words to her rang in her head and she realized something and thought, you asshole, you made me inhale the scent of that rose so that any time I smelt that scent I would remember and my body would want to feel that again. As she raised her hand up to the rose in her hair and as her finger brushed the petal her body shivered and she bit her lip and thought, and the touch of a flower as well. You rewards are torture as well because of my family business I have to interact every day with. How am I going to handle this when my body reacts like this? As she looked at her soaked shorts. The next day Naruto was back in the woods when a kunai flew at his head and he replaced himself with a log and saw Ino walk out, and Naruto screamed, what the hell Ino? Ino glared at him and said, you bastard. Your reward has tortured me all night and day. I can't stop thinking about it and my body won't stop reacting to the touch and scent of flowers. Naruto smirked and said in a seductive tone, so how do you like it my servant? No matter where you go or what you do I will always be able to have you think of me and remember my touch. I can make flowers bloom anywhere you go, so running away won't work, and if I can cause you pleasure when I'm not around, what could I do for pain? You are my prisoner in a prison without walls or bars. Ino shivered at the words he said and said, please stop. Naruto placed his hand on the ground and a rose grew and Ino took a step back in fear, and Naruto said, just the thought of what I could do to you terrifies you, and excites you. As he threw the rose on the ground, earning a sigh of relief from Ino. Naruto stopped using the seductive tone and said, now you know how I feel Ino. Making her blink and ask what. Naruto looked at her and said, when you invaded my mind to steal my secrets, my treasure, I am afraid of you. You were someone I went to the academy with and we may not have been friends but we knew each other. You have made me scared of you and everyone else in this village, especially after Mizuki tried to kill me. I have to look at everyone in this village as an enemy now because of you. How do I know that Shikamaru won't use his shadow to make me walk off a cliff, or Choji to use his family jutsu to crush me, or Sasuke to use a fire jutsu on me. You destroyed my trust in everyone and made me a prisoner in a prison with no walls or bars, and yet I must constantly fear the others around me now. I just returned the favor, but you only have experienced the pleasure of it so far because I am being nice to you, but I could just as easily make you fear what I can do as well. I don't want people to fear me, but I also don't want to live in fear also. Ino's eyes looked down and she softly whispered, I didn't think of it that way before. Naruto said, Ino, you need to wake up. Ino looked confused and said, I am awake. Naruto looked at her and said, no, you're not. Right now you live in your own little dream world where everyone does everything for you, where you can be as big of a bitch to anyone you want and do anything to anyone because they see the little princess of the Yamanaka clan. Nobody sees the woman you really are, the woman who is asleep inside of you. The one who could face any danger that came at her and kicked at ass or run in fear from the slightest scare. Remember, I asked you if you knew what could happen to you if I was a real enemy. Instead of going home to your daddy or going back to your dream world you live in where your dreams, your knight in shining armor will come and rescue you, and where you marry Sasuke and live happily ever after, you could be a broken and bloody mess lying in some ditch dying alone and cold, or sold as a slave to be used by the highest bidder. I admit what I did to you was wrong and you have every right to hate me, but you also should be thanking me. Ino, who was thinking over his words, felt that was a slap in the face and said, thank you. For what? Naruto said, for helping to show you the dream world you live in isn't real. To give you a reason to find who you really are and not the fangirl who only uses those around her as playthings. I've seen the way you treat Choji and Shikamaru. Both see you as a sister since your families are so close, but all you see them as are subjects to be pushed around by you to do what you want. The lazy ass and the fat ass as you call them. You can't even call someone you thought of as your best friend her name. You have to insult her and treat her like she's lower than you. You use everyone and anyone to do what you want because people respect your family name and your family reputation, but like Sasuke, you're nothing but a spoiled little brat who uses your family name to claim you're better than others. Ino said, Sasuke-kun, not like that. Naruto said, really? As he hinged into Ino and said, Sasuke-kun's so cool and dreamy. Before he dropped the hinge and said, why? Why is he so cool? What has he ever done that is so important that he deserves special recognition from you and the rest of the village? Has he even said a kind word to you or any of the other girls who chase after him? Ino quickly said, of course he has. Naruto crossed his arms and said, really? What? Ino opened her mouth and closed it and then said, I don't know, but I know he has. Naruto said, really? How do you know that? Ino said, because people respect him. Naruto said, and why do people respect him? Ino quickly said, because he's an uchi. As her eyes got wide a moment, and Naruto said, because of who his family was. Even you admit the only reason you like him is because he comes from a rich and famous clan and you want to be famous and rich also. You want to be the princess and have your big dream wedding and live your big fancy life. But what will it matter when none of your friends come to your wedding because you have none from being a bitch to them for years? Or what is so important about living a fancy life if you sit at home alone? Ino said, but I won't be alone. I'll have Sasuke. Naruto snorts and said, really? What is Sasuke's goal in life, Ino? Ino blinked and said, I don't know. Naruto said, to kill his brother and restore his clan. Ino said, well yeah, Sasuke's brother killed his clan and as the last Uchiha Sasuke has a duty to restore his clan. Naruto said, yeah, just like I will when I reveal who I really am. But you know the difference between Sasuke and me. I told you the order Sasuke goals are from most important to least. Restoring his clan comes second to Sasuke. Sasuke trains every day to get stronger and is waiting until he knows where Itachi is, thinking Itachi just going to stand and wait for him. He will marry several girls, fuck them until they are pregnant and then leave to chase after his brother. When he gets there he will find a clue where he went, and instead of coming back to the woman who are the mothers of his children he will follow that clue and the next, going day after day chasing a dream that either someone else will finish destroying Sasuke's lifelong goal or living a life of misery and despair where his whole world revolves around Itachi until he dies alone somewhere, never even seeing the face of his children or the woman who threw their lives away for him. Ino said, Sasuke, not like that. You're wrong. Naruto said, really? Then why is it the report I just gave you the one your own dad gave the Hokage about Sasuke after he entered Sasuke's mind to determine if he should be allowed to be a ninja? Ino's eyes got wide and Naruto said, Sasuke a flight risk. That's your dad's official statement. His file was on the Hokage desk when I went there after Mizuki tried to kill me, and I read it while the Hokage was ordering what was to be done with Mizuki. Your dad recommended that Sasuke be put on a team with a sensei who will spend some quality time with Sasuke alone, trying to get him to forget his revenge, or someone who is willing to kill Sasuke should he flee, but Sasuke is an avenger who feels that avenging his clan is more important than restoring it. You may doubt my words, but ask your dad the truth. Ask him not to lie to you and ask him is Sasuke a flight risk who would betray the village if someone offered him power or promised to deliver Itachi to him. You should know how to read your father if he is lying or not. Now it is already after 4 and you have duties you have to get ready for. You can believe me or not and you can go back to your prison because I am your enemy. One who doesn't give shit about your clan or that you're a princess. To me you're someone who I own and who I have to watch to make sure she follows the rules or I will punish her. Now leave me alone, I have training to do. Here's the key to my apartment, the address is on the key. As he threw it on the ground at her feet. Naruto said I will be home at 7, you can either do your task and be rewarded as I see fit or you can be punished. Goodbye. As he turned his back to her, Ino took the key and left the clearing in her thoughts. After she was gone Naruto slumped to the ground and thought I hope I am doing the right thing. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.